And it says right here, why am I saying quiz weird?
In quiz.
Can I say quiz, please? In Chris Squires, the fish. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go! Rabble.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different album from a different artist and we break it down. We do all the research so you guys don't have to, and we find out all the little secrets and we let everyone know what's going on with the band and this record. So this week we are doing the album from Yes called Fragile. But before we get into that, go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether, is Jeff. So, Jeff, what album are we doing today? Even though I already said it, but what album are we doing
Literally
today?
just said it, but we're doing...
I know, I fucked up.
We're doing Yes, and we're doing their album Relayer.
No, we're not. You're an idiot. Doing Fragile. Now, Jeff, what are your initial thoughts on this band? What do you got?
Go. Wait. You always say go, but you didn't say that. No, that's fine. Usually we talk about our origin story. You didn't say that.
Origin story. Sorry, my bad. Dude,
you're struggling. That's all right. That's why there's two of us to like a checks and balances sort of thing, right?
Pod talking is hard. Pod reading is hard.
Yeah.
It's a difficult time for me.
Existing is difficult for you. So
it really is.
My origin story is actually Jerry from Virgin Records. Like I've talked about this dude before. Jerry, when I worked for Virgin, he was kind of the guy that, like, Virgin was split up between like two groups of people that just wanted to follow what was trendy and would play whatever it is that was popular and pretend they like it. And then there was the other half where like they hated everything that the other people like. There were the two groups fought, like the Jets and the Sharks. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. Is it the Jets and the Sharks? I think it was the Jets and the Sharks. Okay. But Jerry was part of like the counterculture, and he was very heavily into jazz. He loved reggae, and he liked a lot of like prog rock. He's the one that like essentially got me into reggae early on, and he was the one that told me about Yes. And for whatever reason, I don't even know how, but he showed me I've Seen All Good People. That was the first Yes song I ever heard. And then like curating playlists on my iPod since then, I would always do like a sort of longer playlist where it was songs, like 2 or 3 different songs kind of split into one. For instance, like Coheed, their Welcome Home would be on the playlist. Bohemian Rhapsody, the Yes song at the time, like Deloused, I put that on there. So a lot of those type of songs, a lot of like prog songs like that. So like I've Seen All Good People was my first introduction to them. And that was when I worked at Virgin, and it's all because of Jerry. And okay. I had not listened to Yes. I listened to that album, but that was it. And never again until we started collecting vinyl. And I can't remember which was the first Yes album that I got. But I got some Yes albums. Like, oh, I know Yes. Like, they have that song that I like. And I listened to, it was probably Tormados, because I didn't like it. I was like, this is fucking dumb. Like, this is bad. And then I thought, like, I wonder if the song that I've loved for so long is bad too, and if I just liked it because of nostalgia. And so then I went and got that album. I actually bought it, and it was like $4 or $5. It wasn't expensive, but I was like, no, this is fucking good. This is fantastic. And Yes was the first band that I really got into. We started collecting, and I just started getting all of their stuff, all their live stuff, all their comps, everything. And yeah, I don't know.
So then my origin story is, I mean, my mom was into a lot of like 70s rock, 80s rock, but a lot of 70s really, and then country. So I always knew like Owner of a Lonely Heart. I knew Roundabout, and I knew all the good, or wait, Seeing All the Good People, whatever the fucking name of that song is.
Good people.
I mean, those three songs, I just hearing them over and over growing up because of my mom. So that was my first introduction, but I never knew who it was. I always thought it was like we were talking about on the last pod, that Owner of a Lonely Heart. I thought that was Sting, or I thought it was the Police. You know, I didn't know it was a band called Yes. And same with the other two songs. I thought they were just some random 70s band, and I never really cared, like Bad Company or something.
Ooh.
So that's kind of what I always thought. And then I just never ever listened to Yes until we started collecting vinyl, and you said you gotta check out Yes. They're actually really, really good. So the first record I got from them was Fragile, which is the record of the week, obviously. And I was just finding out that Roundabout was them, and then realizing, oh shit, every time I've heard the song, it's been the radio version, which is 3.5 minutes compared to the over 8 minutes of the actual song. Yeah. And then finding out that it's like this entire just prog masterpiece, I was just blown away the first time I heard Fragile. And then I heard Close to the Edge, and I was just hooked. So then, you know, it's been a little bit over a year now since we started collecting, and yeah, this band is so good. At least, you know, 5 of the records are really good out of 21 records. But so yeah, that's my origin story. It's very new actually. So then what are your initial thoughts on Fragile? What do you got?
Initially, I mean, when you start an album off with a song like Roundabout, it's hard to like you could throw shit after that and I'll still be on a high, and so I'll still probably like it. And so initially when I first listened to this album, Fragile, I thought like, oh, this is like their best album. And so it was hard with like Relayer and then Close to the Edge. I thought like, oh dude, like Roundabout's arguably like their best song. This is like their best album. Upon more listens, it dropped faster and lower. There are some definite things wrong with this album, but initially, I mean, this is damn good, and everything you want from like a prog band is here, and everything you want from Yes is here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
but it is not without its faults though.
Yeah, there are moments that are a little quirky and weird, but it's still an amazing record. So do we have any stinkers on this one?
No, but
okay.
There's one song that I just wish was not even here.
Which song is that?
Like, I think Bruford, or what did you call him? Buford? Clifford?
Yeah, I had a hard time with
it. I think Bruford he's a fantastic drummer. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the best prog drummers of all time. No doubt. He is fantastic. But his song 5% for Nothing, like, it just doesn't fit. It's kind of dumb.
Like 30 seconds, dude.
But like, it's just
like nothing.
I get it. Like, this is a band where they thought, hey, let's all do our own thing. And then if you need the band to back you up to support your thing, then we will do that. But let's all just let's all throw our own hat in the ring here and see what happens. And this is, that's kind of dumb. Like, it's just kind of stupid. And like sequencing wise, coming off of South Side of the Sky, which is a fucking banger, and then going into Long Distance Runaround, which is another fucking banger. Dude, like, come on, man, that's just kind of dumb. Like, did you have to do it? You had to do it.
See, if I were to pick one, because I have no stinkers, but if I were to pick one song that I feel like shouldn't be on it, it would have to be, was it Cams and Bronze? Brahms?
Yeah.
What is
Cons
it?
And Brahms.
Yeah, that would be the one, because like you were saying, this record showcases every member has their own song on here, and then the remaining songs are a collaborative effort essentially. But Rick Wakeman wasn't allowed to have, sole songwriting credits because of contract bullshit. So he had to like kind of I rework like an old fucking Johann Brahms, his fourth symphony. Dude, I cannot fucking speak tonight. Holy shit.
Brahms
So he had
Stoker
to-
Symphony, sure.
Yeah, Brahms. Yeah. So he had to rework that. I can't even fucking say that. So it's bullshit, and it just this to me this does not fit the rest of the record at all. But it's still cool. It's still good. But it's just nothing. But you know the Bruford one, that one is fucking solid. 5% for nothing.
It's fucking stupid. It doesn't
It's
do
stupid,
anything.
but it's just like it's so Mars Volta. I love it. This is like very Omar. Like some of Omar's solo stuff is just wild and weird like this.
But it's not weird. It's just really good drumming
It's a
with
mess.
shitty sequencing.
It's a wild mess. I love it.
It's
fantastic.
fantastic. It's fantastic drumming. It's just shitty sequencing, and I also agree. Like the Wakeman one, like as cool as that is, like dude, that's just dumb. Like why the fuck would you put like this harpsichord sound like we're at the fucking tea party with the Queen in between Roundabout and We Have Heaven? Like that's like what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And if Wakeman can't write a song, then don't give him a fucking song. It's simple
true.
as that. He didn't need to do this. Just like that Bruford didn't need to happen. Because he has times in this album where he really, really shined with his drumming. He didn't need his own drumming track, which had no business being in that sequence. Those are my only complaints.
I had no issues with it. With
It's
Bruford,
stupid.
I had no
It's
issues with
fine.
that.
How do you
It's
like
30
that?
seconds. Come on.
Just because it's 30 seconds doesn't make it good.
Get out of here. Get out of
You
here.
just like it 'cause you think you're like some type of fucking cool guy or something. It's stupid. It doesn't belong there.
Nah,
Get
I'm
it
a
out
cool
of here.
guy.
Get it
I'm a
out.
cool
Get the
guy,
fuck
man.
out of here.
Full good.
I'm from Boston. Get out of here and stuff.
That was like one of the worst accents.
That's how they talk over in Boston. In Baston. That's how Ben Affleck
be
talks.
a man. Okay. So then what do you got for your 1B, your biggest banger?
I didn't.
BB.
I actually didn't want to like rank a lot of these as bangers or anything because sequencing wise, there's some stuff that is better after some other stuff. But I mean, like, I think Roundabout's perfect. I think Roundabout is a perfect song. I think South Side of the Sky is probably my favorite.
Okay.
I think Long Distance Runaround is perfect. I think The Fish is even perfect.
That's a good one.
Heart of the Sunrise, I think is perfect.
It's
I think The Fish is actually the only like solo one that I really, really liked. Or like the individual piece.
Yeah. The Fish and then the 5% for Nothing are my two solo ones that are listed as bangers. So
Like the 5% for Nothing is exactly why I don't like drummers doing side projects. Is because now it's just like a wank fest for the drummers and it's just dumb. That's exactly what that is.
as you just bought like multiple Mickey Hart records.
Yeah, because that wasn't a wank fest. That was Mickey Hart involving a lot of other percussionists and they're doing it together. 5% for Nothing was a drum solo masked as a song.
It's fine. It's fine. You're too critical.
It's boring.
So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the song we've already played? Because that is my
Yeah,
1B.
talk about Roundabout.
Okay,
'Cause
so
we already
this
played it.
is a collaborative song. So I forgot who. It was mostly John Anderson, Chris Squire, and I think Steve Howe, who wrote this one. I don't even know where to start because this is like the first time we're doing like a traditional prog record. So I have timestamps and all, but I don't know.
I mean, this is even this is not even like the proggiest thing they've done too. Like we
No.
had to be done like Close to the Edge, right? Where just one side is one song. So at least now we're getting into something where each song is separate and there are multiple songs and some of them are short and some are long. But yeah, this is like the first time we've done something really truly like proggy like this.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was a lot of work.
this song, I think Roundabout is probably like the best representation of what Yes is about. Similar to how I think like Goliath is the best for someone who's never listened to the Mars Volta. You play him that song, they get it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like this
that makes sense.
This is also kind of like how I feel. Like if someone's never heard Yes, you say, "What are Yes about?" Play him Roundabout. That kind of has a little bit of everything, but is also still really, really good.
Yeah, and thinking about it structurally too, when you look at Goliath, the first 3.5, 4 minutes of that song is like a traditional song structure, and then it goes into the breakdown, much like this Roundabout song does too. It's like up until 323 or at 324 is when it goes into like this really cool breakdown where it's just like this almost like tribal sounding and just minimal vocals, and they're just kind of like they're kind of building up to what's going to be like this just almost like crescendo, and then they kind of bring it back around at the end. But yeah, you get a traditional song and then it just goes into something completely different, but it's still connected in weird ways. I don't know.
This like for me, you said crescendo. This song for me is all about building tension. The entire song is just, there's constant tension building, like right from the get-go. That lowest octave E Wakeman hits on his piano, played in reverse, so where it swells into the acoustic guitar, like it swell into something like that. You would think normally it would swell into like an electric performance, and it would come in heavy with the drums and the bass, but here it swells into like an acoustic guitar, and the acoustic guitar is really, it's pleasant, right? There's a lot of harmonics being played, but it also kind of like there's this urgency. There's a subtle urgency to it. Urgency. There's a subtle urgency to it, and even like before the acoustic guitar even drops, we're already on edge. And like Howe's guitar is just soft enough to let us relax a little bit, but before dropping into some of like the coolest, grooviest fucking prog rock out there, prog rock out there.
What's cool too is like what you're saying with like the acoustic and the harmonics, and then when it does go into the verse, it's still Steve just playing the acoustic guitar, just strumming, but then Chris Squire is just fucking ripping it up on bass as they're going through it, and then it gets into the pre-chorus and the chorus, and it's just that electric guitar tone that Steve has there is just, it sounds so good, mixed with John's like super melodic chorus. Dude, it's absolutely amazing. And then it drops right back into the verse, and it's amazing how much sound they have with just that. And then you throw in Rick Wakeman, who throws in these subtleties throughout it, but then they're not even like, I don't even want to call them subtle. They're just these like wild just parts. I don't even know. I can't even explain it.
There's so much
like
to the
frantic
song.
At times.
So like going back to like the how is playing against the soundscapes using the harmonics, perfect. And then like there's that descending scale that finally happens to lead into the actual song, right? That ding ding ding, and then it goes into the actual song, and that's when Squire he's just unreal. He's unreal at playing the bass, and it's like people don't talk about him a lot. But then if you start reading a lot, or like reading random interviews or whatever about other bass players, they'll bring up like Chris Squire and like how much of an influence he was on their bass playing, because he's like in some kind of weird unsung hero. And I think it's just because you're in a band like Yes, where everybody's a hero. Like somebody has to be like the bass player is always the person to kind of get thrown to the side.
True, yeah.
But he's better than that. I also read too that
he's way better than that.
That OG guitarist Peter Banks claimed to have written like some of the riffage here. Okay, bruh. Like, okay, come on, guy. Okay, get out of here.
I don't really buy that.
You're out of the band. Goodbye. Stop trying. Goodbye. I thought that was really funny and like a real stretch on his part to try and get back in here. But anyway, how does it even match? Like how is Steve Howe throwing down these acoustic guitar parts behind such an ecstatic song? How did that even fucking match? Like how can they match each other? That I don't understand. And Anderson is just throwing out vocals as an instrument. He's just another rhythm track at this point. Yes, he's saying words, but his vocal performance is just a rhythm track, and that's essentially what he does best.
a lot of what he does on this record is his vocals are like secondary, and his lyrics are especially secondary. So,
yeah.
And what I like so much about Roundabout too is that so starting at what is it? What I have here?
5 minutes.
So no. Well, I was going to say at 6:15, 6 minutes 15 seconds. That's when Steve starts playing his solo, and then it goes It's a back and forth solo between him and Rick for almost a minute. They're just like ripping it up, they're just battling with each other, and I fucking loved it. It's so Mars Volta. I loved it. I thought it was so good. So damn good.
We've talked about the Mars Volta several times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obvious similarities between the Mars Volta and Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's some like very, very specific things that I don't want to say like the Mars Volta lifted, because that's wrong, but not in this song, but a different song. It's like they lifted it, basically. They lifted it. So
okay.
But it's
I'm
cool.
interested.
But we'll get there later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I don't even know. I don't even know where to go from here. Let's the bridge part. The bridge part here. That's when Hal's throwing down the super simple stripped down guitar riff. That's like some 15-year-old garage band shit that you do with your friends. It's simple. It's effective. It's humble, right?
Which part are you talking about?
This is before the 5, because at the 5 minute mark we hit that like weird kind of coda thing where
it all just kind of like stops.
Yeah, like before that,
like starts over.
Hal is just doing like boom, boom, like he's hitting single notes. He's not shredding. He's not going fast. It's slowed down. That's stuff you do like in a garage band when you're like 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid, right? It's dumb.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He does it so well. Like he does it so damn perfectly, and that's because of how great he is. And damn, dude, Steve Howe is so good at the guitar. He's so fantastic. And like I said, around that 5 minute mark, we hit that like that coda part where everything's kind of coming back and they're rehashing some old concepts. Howe goes back to the nylon string in that intro part, and then Wakeman's just fucking going nuts, like Eddie Van Halen style, just going insane.
Yeah.
And then the song quiets down, it slows down, calms down, but then there's still like that subtle background intensity, and like again, it leads to something great. Like, this song is all about building tension, and there's constant building, and they bring you down a little bit only to like raise you higher than you were before. And then Wakeman's solo, which is just, it's so of its time. Like he hits the keys so quick and crisp that the organ sound doesn't have time to like ring out on each note, like Deep Purple style.
It's so frantic. I love it.
It just but he blends so perfectly with Hal. They go back and forth like you said, and it's so playful and like cute. But then Squire's just shredding, just fucking
the
shredding.
Whole time. Yeah. And then he throws in like little nuances too that normally a lot of bass players wouldn't do, like to make it his own, character. It's fantastic.
And all the while here we're sitting here for just what seems like a decade listening to this song. And then at the very end we have Howe once more hit that falling scale, but this time he ends on that major chord to give much needed relief. After all of that, we finally get a major chord to let us breathe, to end the song.
Yeah.
Whew, we're done.
And then at the very end too, I mean, right before that, you have like the layered vocals of John at the very end too, where it's not too much. It's not him like showing that I'm the front man or anything like that. It's just there to accent or to put like the cherry on top of everything that just happened the last 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's solid stuff, man.
There's a lot of harms, yeah, especially in the end. There's a lot of dubbing, there's a lot of layering, and again, that's them just adding to like the tension. And I think it's like there's a musical term for it, like in Only in Dreams, the Blue Album Weezer, when they hit that last note.
Oh yeah.
That's called something. I don't know what it is because I don't know everything about music like that one guy thinks that we do. Our hater on Twitter. But like
he's not even a hater.
I know you didn't really hate nothing, but I don't know, that release of tension because just a simple E chord, just an open E, just simple. It releases tension that has been building up for 8 or 9 minutes, So that's, dude, it's just absolutely, the song is absolutely perfect.
It is. It truly, truly is. And then, but like I was saying on the rankings episode, I was a little disappointed by the lyrics because I was expecting more of like a concept to the entire record or just something a little bit, I guess, deeper, really. Like John Anderson is there just to hold together the melody, but lyrically, there's nothing really there.
Nah.
On really any of the songs. So, like it was interesting, like how the concept of this song came up when they were driving to Glasgow, Scotland, and they were coming down into a valley and they were smoking weed, which in the early 70s, it was, people reacted differently to weed, and he said it was just like, it was like an eye-opening, like weird trip that he was having. And yeah, so he was just writing pretty much like what he was seeing, but it pretty much all the lyrics on this song are just like word vomit. Like he said he just wrote the lyrics just because it sounded good together, but it doesn't really seem like it means anything. I
think if you take John Anderson as a guitarist with his vocals and not as a lyricist, I think he's a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As some lyricists, he's just, he's a nobody, but to string together a bunch of words that sound pleasant, that rhyme, that is also something to be said about somebody who writes music, because anybody can rhyme things, but if it doesn't go together, if it's ugly or whatever, then it's not going to be pleasant. Yeah. So there is something to be said. It comes
down to songwriting. It comes down to songwriting. It's not
all about content, though. It is something about just some words are aesthetically pleasing. Some people don't like the word moist, so they don't say it. Some words are aesthetically pleasing. And so I think there is something to be said about a lyricist who doesn't have a lot of content, but still writes very aesthetically pleasing strings of words. And that's what John Anderson is.
True. Very, very true. So, do you have anything else lyrically on this one?
No, he just fucking saw a bunch of roundabouts when he was stoned and wrote a song about it.
That's really what it was.
Literally all it was.
They were driving to Glasgow from Aberdeen or from fucking somewhere in England. Yeah, and they just hit so many roundabouts, so he was just writing about that. And he saw the mountains going into the clouds.
But the word itself, roundabout, is a cool word. Yeah, it's a fun word to say. It's not difficult to say, roundabout. It's fun. There's a lot of weird consonants that aren't usually grouped together, and then N and the B and the R. It's a fun word. It's pleasing. It's
a word that we don't use that often either.
Yeah, it's exotic. So there is something to be said about that style of writing, or that type of writing, I should say.
True. So then, do we have anything else musically on this one?
No, that is
okay.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. I didn't think we'd get that far into it. And then also, I wanted to mention real quick, this is the first one to feature Rick Wakeman, because they fired Tony Kaye, their original keyboard player, because he didn't want to learn how to play other forms of keyboards, like on the Moog and other things like that. He wanted to keep it more traditional. So then they fired him, brought in Rick Wakeman. And then a fun little fact I didn't know was that Rick was actually offered the job with Yes the same day he was offered the job with David Bowie.
Yeah.
But he only chose Yes because he figured he would get more creative input over Bowie, which he did, but it's pretty wild. Fucking, that's wild.
Did you see any pictures of Rick Wakeman's keyboard setup in like his heyday?
No,
like live?
I'll look it up right now.
Dude, like we're
I
talking
imagine
like
it was fucking wild.
Fucking stacks and stacks of keyboards just like stacked on top of each other. Like floor keys in front of him, key to his left, to his right. And it looks like he would just take other keyboards like Moogs and just stack it on top of other keyboards. Like it looks so sloppy and janky.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is wild.
It's so cool though. Like it's so stupid.
Like looking at his stuff back in the 60s or back in the 70s is way more impressive than looking at the stuff he has now, because it's like, it's all this crazy, just a bunch of wires too. It's not just like the keyboard. It's just like all these wires going into, I don't know. That's cool. That's really cool.
Right? It's crazy. It's over the top. It seems so extravagant, so unnecessary.
Yeah,
But I like it. I like it.
I do too. Yeah, it's super rad. That's cool. That's really cool.
This fucking guy Wakeman. God, he's really good though.
He is fucking solid. So what other song do you want to talk about right now?
Let's well, my favorite. I love. I think Roundabout's perfect. My favorite song on this album is South Side of the Sky.
Okay, let's get into that. What do you got?
So
this is my 2B.
So for one, this is pretty heavy for Yes so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Squire's matching Bruford's pacing. Then they all match that, and it's got that sort of like metal riffage, that dinner, that whatever the fuck it is they do.
Yeah.
Those metalmen do, and it's pretty damn cool. And the whole song like opens up with a storm. So there's a soundscape. There's kind of an intro. There's a feeling, and much like in Roundabout, you're already getting some type of feeling, whatever it is. Here, I got like this, much like when weather is coming towards you, you get this impending, I don't know, anxiety almost. Regardless if you're scared or happy, there's a little bit of anxiety when it comes, just human nature with storms and that effect. So you're already getting a little bit anxious with this song because the way it opens up, and then how heavy it is. That's just adding to that effect. I think this entire song is about just like anxiety.
I think so too. And I mean, it throughout the entire song, it actually starts with like a howling wind, and it plays throughout the entire song, and it finishes out the song too. So it adds to that uneasiness. And then reading more about the lyrics, I mean, this is the only part of the record where I feel like he was kind of telling the story, but it really wasn't. So like loosely, it kind of follows like a polar expedition, and you feel like you can follow the story better musically than you can lyrically, which is kind of weird. But when you have that context in your mind, like this is like people traveling in the cold and trying to get to their next destination in the middle of a fucking frozen wasteland, it makes the song so much cooler, especially with the howling wind and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I agree too. This was maybe even like the only time where the lyrics meant something. Not much, but it was something. But I think it was only like key words and the way he sang them, because you can sing, like you can say the word happy as you sing, but make it sound sad. So like it may not mean anything. So when like knowing this is about something, that polar expedition that is going awry and everyone's like freezing to death, like word for word, that's not what I get from this. But overall, as a glance, and when I'm listening to it and I hear him say, buzzwords when he's talking about like the mountain to be crossed and the sunshine in the mountains, like that first verse when he said, he says a river, a mountain to be crossed, the sunshine in the mountains sometimes lost, around the south side so cold that we cried. Like that is a good verse that sets up the story. The rest of the song doesn't do that well, but at least you have that set up. Whereas there is a mountain, a metaphorical mountain, because this could be applied to fucking anything in life. There's a mountain you need to cross, and the sun is behind it, so you can't see the ending of whatever you're working towards. And the south side of the mountain is cold, representing like the bottom of the mountain. Like if you're looking at a map, the bottom of the mountain's always the south. Yeah, and that's always the coldest part. That's when you first start, like whatever. And so like I think overall there's a more metaphorical thing going on here. I think it's just overcoming obstacles, but I think he's trying to use the expedition as that, I don't know, that vessel to get that message across. So I think this song is like the best he's done, but this clearly shows that he's not a really good songwriter.
But he I mean, the two people that are credited as songwriters are John and Chris Squire.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a little strange.
But did Chris write this whole song and then John just wrote like the vocal harmonies? Because that would be unreal.
The way I was kind of looking at it, so you start from the beginning with the howling wind. So this is the beginning of the journey, and up through, what is it, 2 minutes and 9 seconds, you're getting just like that the entire song kind of like trudges along for the most part, minus like some breakdowns and stuff and interludes, but it just kind of like trudges along like you're walking or like you're heading towards something with that bass playing and that drumming. It has that feel to it. But during those first 2 minutes, you have that, but then you throw in, to me, you throw in Steve and then Rick, and they're playing off of each other. Like they're like almost like soloing off of each other or playing leads off of one another. So how I kind of viewed that in the story of this expedition is that like it's the group trudging along, but then it's like the inner fighting between the group, and the inner fighting is Steve and Rick's leads there amongst the trudging along. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like that's part of the story.
It does.
But it's best told musically rather than lyrically. So I think this song is absolute genius. It really is. And then at 2:09, you get the instrumental break that really just shows Rick's like piano play. It sounds like he just plays like a straight up piano. It's not like an organ or like a synth or anything like that. So you pretty much get that for like a minute. And then after that, some more of the instruments come in, and then you get the vocal layered like la la la's, and it's a wild song. It's a wild song.
I do like totally agree that this song tells a story musically, and the vocals try to add to that, not very well, but musically the vocals do, but lyrically the vocals do not. Musically they do, but lyrically they don't. But that part that you're talking about, I like the 2:09 mark. That's like the calm, and like how I saw that is like when you're on this expedition, when you're going through the mountains, when everybody kind of knows, or they don't know, but everybody thinks that you're probably gonna die. That Wakeman like soft key part is so unconventional. It's a very unconventional solo for its time. It's very classical in sound, but it's still a little bit jarring, and it's a little bit rock based. And so that part itself is like your group is trudging along, trying to keep their hopes up, but everybody knows deep down they're going to fucking die. And that's what that solo like sounded like to me, is people pretending like things are going to be okay, but they all feel like it's not going to be.
Yeah. And then I feel like with everybody else coming in and doing their own thing over the next couple minutes, it's like them kind of getting out of that almost like depression, or that out of like that feeling that they're not going to be able to make it. But then once they get out of that feeling, then it goes back into like that trudging bass and drum part. So it's kind of like they're back to like their main path of their expedition, and then they finish it out with just these like they made it to the end. So you get the rising action of the trudging, and then you get the climax of that middle part with the piano and all the other guys coming in and doing their thing, and then you're closing out with some more trudging, but then it ends with just like these cool guitar swells and just a lot of cool lead guitar playing, mixed with some cool stuff from Rick Wakeman. So it's truly like a rad story through and through for over 7 minutes. Wild.
I also hear in that 2-minute mark, that Wakeman solo, he does his downscale thing that we hear in Roundabout. It's brief, but it's there. And I think that's like Wakeman's classical training kicking in, because there's like the coda thing, but there's also something else that classically trained fucking cucks call it, where you incorporate earlier melodies into pieces throughout the play or whatever you're doing. Yeah. So that way the audience doesn't forget what it sounds like. But it's there. Like, I'm telling you, it's there, and I fucking heard it. I should have time stamped it, but I didn't, because I'm a cuck.
That's fine. So actually, let's play just a bit of this song, South Side of the Sky. I'll just start it from the beginning, because then, I mean, people listening will get the gist of it. Yeah. So here it is from Yes. There you go. A little bit of South Side of the Sky from Yes.
There you go.
Damn, it's so good. It's fantastic. So, do we have anything else on this song, or what do you think?
I do think like when the storm comes back towards the end, and I don't know, we're kind of thrown somewhere else, and this like the song sort of returns to the beginning sound, a little heavier, a little guitar solo there. It's a little more whimsical. I do think that part is it's leaving us uncertain. The storm came back, and we don't know what happened. If we're talking about like the expedition, we don't know what happened now. We don't know if they survived, if we died. It was just like, here's a group of people. The storm's coming. The storm hit them. It's over. It's kind of like leaving us guessing a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that.
Thus, which brings me to my biggest problem, is putting fucking 5% for nothing after this.
So what did you want? Like some like acoustic little thing?
Yeah, you could at least put House of instrumental after this. That would have been fine. You could have put Mood for a Day after this.
But I mean, but then I also like the idea of just wrapping up the song and that's it, and like leaving it kind of like ambiguous at the end. I like that too.
Like we were just thrown through the ringer, and then all of a sudden we get all this little fucking like. Are you serious? Like, come on.
It is a little wild, yeah.
Get out of here, fucking Buford. Bobby Boucher. Banger of a song, man.
It really is. It's my 2B. It's my 2B. All right. I mean, that's all I got musically and lyrically on that song. I don't know. Should we move on to another one?
Move on to another one, baby.
Okay. So then what's your 3B? What do you? I don't know what to talk about.
Everything else now is pretty damn good. So
yeah,
like pretty much side B itself is pretty damn good. Long Distance Runaround, I think is fantastic. The Fish, I think is really good.
It is, yeah.
And so like on my record, I had written a lot of notes about how great like Steve Howe sounds and like his guitar effects are really good. But on my record it says that Squire plays everything.
What?
Like when I open my jacket, it says all the sounds you hear is Chris Squire. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. But I did write a lot of stuff about how great
on The Fish.
Yeah.
Right.
That's because that's Squire's solo song.
Yeah.
And that's what the record says. It says the sounds that you hear are made from a bass.
Interesting.
If that is true, that is fucking mind blowing.
That is very, very interesting.
If that's stretching the truth a little bit, then I'm upset. But if that is actually true, that's fucking mind blowing.
That really is.
And like
there's some really high parts in that.
That's why I thought it was like a guitar. I don't know, but like this essentially is just. This could be a part of Long Distance Runaround. This is like a bonus 2 minutes of Long Distance Runaround. This song is great. It's groovy. It reminds me of a lot of what I like about the Mars Volta. A lot of their noodling and instrumental stuff is like this. They're a little more chaotic and unpredictable, but their essence is right here. This is it.
Yeah, definitely. So I was going to... Okay, the bass line in The Fish, did it sound like something to you, like another song at all? Did that ever cross your mind at all?
No, I don't think so, no.
Fuck. Because it did to me, and I cannot figure out what it is. But I know that bass line, at least like the first 4 or 5 notes of that bass line is from another song.
What?
Dude, it's like straight up from another song. And I listened to this song multiple times trying to jog my memory, but I just could not do it. But it's from something else, or another band took that bass line and changed like some of the end notes to that line. But that it's for sure from another song. I know it for a fact.
At this point, you gotta play it then.
Fuck.
All of our 4 listeners, maybe they will know.
I know, right? So here's The Fish from Yes, and see if you can figure it out. There it is, a bit of The Fish. It's the high part of that bass. It's like I'm not doing it justice, but it's the high part. It's not the lows. It's the high, that high melody or that high line. Dude, it's something. I know it's something. Oh my god. It's driving me even more insane now that I don't know. What the fuck is it?
I don't know. I have
I
no idea.
know it's from something else.
No idea.
And I know it's from a modern band. I know it's definitely from a band that's after this, but I don't know what I can't do it. I just cannot figure out what it is. It's been driving me crazy all week.
I'm
But
trying to like
anyway,
rack my brain, like even just manipulating the sound itself to sound like other things, and I'm coming up with nothing.
Yeah, I cannot figure it out.
On a separate note, I have my record here in front of me, my jacket, and it says right here, quiz. Why am I saying quiz weird?
In quiz.
Can I say quiz, please? In Chris Squire's The Fish, each riff, rhythm, and melody is produced by using the different sounds of the bass guitar.
I guess if you probably run it through some, I don't know, you have to run it through some weird ass effects to get that high tone. Like it's a weird like fuzz mixed with like a phaser. I don't even know. Maybe friend of the pod Chris or Skip they'll know, because I mean he's a bass player, so
I'm sure he's a big fan of Chris Squire too, because they're both from little fucking probably
Merry old
Liverpool
England.
or something. Where's he from?
Or Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham. Yeah.
Birmingham.
They taught him Spears over there.
The Queen's English.
Why is that okay? That should not be okay to like make fun of other people's accents like that. But it is, I guess. I don't know.
It's funny because he makes fun of everybody else's accent too. Except, has he ever made fun of American accents? I don't think he has. The couple times he's been on the pod, I don't think he's done an American accent.
It's kind of funny because I was just thinking about this the other day, because when he had talked about the different accents in England, like the Peaky Blinders don't sound like the Queen's English. You know what I mean? Those two.
Yeah.
But like you can tell the difference between like somebody from Florida, like to quote The Office, like the Panhandler accent, as opposed to like the Southern Savannah accent, right?
Yeah, true.
Like there's
true.
to us, there's a huge distinction between the two, or even somebody from Alabama, as
or
opposed
Boston, New York.
Like Boston and New York, both of those are very distinctive accents, and like I don't know, I thought it was interesting.
It is. It really is. And I feel like people from here in California, especially Southern California, have an accent too. Like us, we have an accent. Totally.
I think the entire world has an accent, but Southern California has no accent. It's just we're the neutral ground, and everybody else on the face of the earth and throughout time has accents.
I mean, that does make sense. Yeah, it does make sense. We are the center of the universe.
Yeah,
of the world. So.
That's fact. I mean, hello.
It is.
McFly.
Hi. Hello.
The Fish, though. It's a good ship.
Boy. Yes, it's very good. Very, very good. And then, so I was reading more like about the song, because there's only 2 words in the song and they're repeated several times, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but
Do it.
Let's see here. Schindleria Prematuris. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I guess the story is that he called like, what was he? He called like one of his roadies or something like that, and asked him to look up in a book like a fish with 8 syllables. But the roadie couldn't find a fish with 8 syllables, so he gave him one with 9 syllables. So that's why when he says it, he kind of like trails off for that last syllable. It's really fucking stupid. And then also Chris's nickname was the Fish because he likes to take long baths, or he liked to take long baths, which is just so stupid.
It's so weird. Like grown ass
So
adults
fucking
taking
weird.
baths, I think is so bizarre.
Oh,
You're just sitting in your own fucking filth, your own sweat and poop and everything. Gross. But
at least take a shower before you take a bath.
on the Genius online, because there's always comments at the bottom. If you go down in the comments, the only comment on this one is somebody named Candyman 101. They said that their favorite part is when it goes Schindleria Prematuris.
Well, you fucking got that down right away, huh?
Yeah, I tried real hard as soon as I was reading it. You got to just commit, because when you commit, it sounds like you know what you're talking about.
True, yeah. You don't have a hard time pod reading like I do.
Pottering,
Pottering,
barn?
yes. Yeah.
Pod reading barn.
I will say too, the one thing that really stands out the most, besides that annoying bass line that I can't figure out, is the xylophone or the marimba, whatever he uses in this song. It's that instrument, man. It's just anytime I hear it, I'm instantly hooked.
Well,
Like,
apparently,
just
according to
without
the
a doubt.
fucking jacket I had, that's Chris Squire's bass. So
Well, no, it doesn't say Chris Squire's bass. It says, wait, does it say Chris Squire's bass?
it's, dude, the way that's what I'm
Now,
saying.
now I want to
It's
go grab mine, but
it's
too
so
far away.
ambiguous and fucking weird. It says Chris Squire's The Fish. Each riff, rhythm, and melody is produced by using the different sounds of the bass guitar. Like, first of all, what does that even mean? Like, okay, like you said, is he
Yeah.
running it through a bunch of effects? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the actual like percussion part, that's not a bass.
That's what I'm led to believe.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
It says each riff, melody, and whatever the other one was.
It's not. It's not.
Albums don't lie. This isn't. This is
Okay.
cardboard. This is
Okay.
cardboard from the '70s. This is definitely not lying.
Isn't that weird to think about cardboard? You're literally holding cardboard from the 70s.
I know, like fucking loser. It's funny because I had bought the Fragile like reissue, the 180 gram. Remember, you bought it for me, and that went up in price. Like you got it for,
Did it
for like $24, something like that. Up to like 40.
Fucking guy, dude.
And so I found in one of the lots that I found a fucking clean copy of Fragile from the 70s, which was free. And so I sold my other one for like $35. I made like $10 on it, and I still have a really, really clean or like older copy of Fragile.
Yeah. Fucking guy, dude.
And I will
Yeah,
say too, like production wise, dude, this album sounds fantastic.
Oh no, it sounds amazing. Like what they were able to do back then with this much intricacy within the songs and mix. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I was gonna say too, I do need a better copy of Fragile and Close to the Edge, because there is at points there is quite a bit of static, especially during the quiet parts. So I really would like to get cleaner copies of those two records for sure.
I will keep an eye out for another $3 copy of this.
Yeah, but I mean $3. I mean, it may look nice, but once you throw it on, it could still have a lot of surface noise.
That is true.
So-
That is true.
I think I've kind of been going through my collection, and I've been putting this, like, writing down like stuff that I have that I want to get cleaner copies of. Like some of the jazz stuff I have, I would like to get cleaner copies of them, because there's a ton of surface noise, and I know it would sound so much better clean. So
That's where I'm at now with buying these lots. Like just last week I bought a lot, and there was a Bob Dylan record in there, Highway 61 Revisited.
terrible
And
record.
I switched out my copy. My copy is a newer pressing from the 80s, and the one that I switched it out for was like a third pressing of it, and it's worth a lot more, and it was really, really clean. So now I'm just like upgrading all of my records that I've been just buying shit records from, and just upgrading.
That's what I gotta do that, because especially like I played that Gets Gilberto record, which I got for really cheap, but there's a ton of surface noise, and my God, dude, I really need to get a better copy of that one, because that record is fucking amazing.
That's
good.
one that around Black Friday, the orange variant that's supposed to sound really good is always on sale for like $15 or $20, and
So worth it.
I keep trying to convince myself to buy it. I never do. I don't know why, but I probably will this year.
Yeah, I mean, we have to, because we're not. It's not like we're gonna replace every record we have. It's just we just gotta like pick and choose the best of the best to replace. And I feel like Gets Gilberto is definitely one that needs to be a good copy.
It's a standard.
But isn't that one, like, isn't there like a mono press that runs at 45 that's supposed to be the best? that goes for like $60 plus.
That one also on Black Friday goes on sale for like $40 though. But then when you're looking at like the website and it says like $40 for this one or $18 on sale for this one, it's hard to buy the $40 one, even though it's on sale and cheaper. Yeah. It's hard to buy that when you can get one for like less than half the price.
Like in that instance, I almost just want to buy that one, the 45 mono, just to see if there is a big difference. Because I don't know. There's no way it's that big, that big of a difference, man. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that. But whatever. So do we want to talk about the fish anymore, or what? What do you think?
No, that's all right. That's fine.
Okay. So what's next for you?
What I mean, I don't have any more bangers. I didn't list any bangers at all. I just put the songs that I thought didn't fit, and then the songs I thought didn't sequence well, and then everything else is essentially a banger for me.
I mean, we could touch upon, how about this? I mean, we pretty much talked about everything, at least the shorter stuff. So like the only ones I feel like are worth talking about still are Long Distance Runaround, which we touched upon briefly, and then the last song, Heart of the Sunrise. So do you want to talk about
so Heart of the Sunrise, I definitely want to talk about.
Okay.
Because this is important here. This is going to blow your fucking
This is
mind.
my 3B. This is my 3B. I have the most notes on this song over
Do you?
everything else. Yeah.
Oh,
Except
God,
for the lyrics. I have nothing on the lyrics.
I would be fucking over the moon if we had some of this. If we had one particular note. But this one, this is a fun transition, right? This one kicks up right away following Howe's song, his Mood for a Day, his solo piece. And dude, the part in the first 30 seconds of this song that slows down, and it is exactly like the 3-note slowdown in La Via Quez from Francis. That doom, 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 and then it goes into it.
You know what?
It's fucking the same thing, and
you're right. I didn't even pick that up.
Dude, I was like laughing, and I was just like, my face turned red. I was so happy because that part, that's like my favorite part in Francis on my favorite Mars Volta album. It is so good because it's so fucking simple. And like all of these guys that try so hard to be so prog and be so extravagant, they still know when to not do that. They still know when to have not do that, and they know when to have negative space and to know when to dumb it down. And the fact that like the Mars Volta did it is really, really cool. But then like you don't hear that often, if ever. It's always very extravagant. And then when I heard it in Heart of Sunrise from Yes, I was just like, holy shit, that's money right there. That is money.
I didn't pick up on that, but I did put, at 34 seconds, it just abruptly just stops, and that's it. And then it starts to build upon itself from there. But that first 33 seconds is just kind of chaos.
It is. It's insane.
But every member shines during that 33 seconds. So you're just taken on this wild trip, and then when it does stop, it's like, oh shit, like what just happened? Like you're just so taken aback by it, but it's really good. And then it gets in with that solid bass line, some great drumming and some great fills, and then Rick's like atmospheric playing and sounds on the keys. It adds this touch to it, to the next like 2 minutes. That is just fucking great. It's really great. And then the build up on Steve's guitar, it's fucking awesome. So it's good. It's great stuff, honestly. So do you have anything on the first 2-3 minutes of that? That's it in a nutshell. The fact that Squire keeps up with Howe's fast guitar playing is something to just like note on its own. Like Howe is like we've said, a phenomenal guitar player, but the fact that Squire keeps up note for note at the same pacing and sounds just as crisp, just as great as he does, that's unbelievable. And then right when it slows down to the crawl, Buford comes in with like the fucking coolest beat on this entire album. It is so fucking good. It is so crisp. It is so clear. It is, I don't even know. It's mind blowing. It's unbelievable. It really is. And this song too, it's a great ending to the record because you do have the craziness that it was in Runabout, but this song is much more prog than Runabout is, or Roundabout. Sorry, fucking Roundabout. It's much more prog, so you get like the highs and lows. So like this song, it's not structured the same, but it starts and ends the exact same, much like Roundabout does. So it's like you start off with the crazy fast chaos, and then it ends the same way. But then, starting at like 325, you get that abrupt stop again, and then it just builds for like, I'd say like maybe 3.5 minutes. It just builds and builds and builds, and then you get that initial build, and then it gets kind of crazy again, but not to the extent of the beginning. And then eventually you get this like crazy just build. I guess it's the only way I could just plainly say it.
That's
the song is wild,
dude. That's what this album really is. Like conceptually, it's musically a concept album. Lyrically, throw them out. But like the building of tension is constantly there. And if you imagine like the word fragile itself it's a very fun word. Like fragile is a very fun word to say. It looks cool. And if you think like something as fragile, I don't know, like you hold a piece of glass or whatever, and you look at it and you're like, damn it, at any moment I could destroy this entire thing with just one drop, with one flick of the wrist, it'd be all over. And that's like kind of what this album is about. This album is just, it is so delicate and everything is so pieced together so damn perfect, like a puzzle. But at any moment, like the whole thing could just fucking fall apart and be complete shit. And the way that Roundabout swells in, and the way that Heart of Sunrise kind of, I mean, aside from like the actual like ending of Heart of Sunrise, the secret part of it, the way it ends, it kind of swells out. Not the way Roundabout swells in, but it kind of like calms down a little bit and lets everything just end and be over. Mm-hmm. But then like Rick Wakeman comes in with his classical training and puts that final, it's not called a coda, it's called something else. I forgot what it's fucking called, but some other fucking term that.
Yeah, you've been throwing that term around a lot. Coda.
That dweebs use, because there's another fucking term for it. I'll look it up real quick because I don't know what it's called. It's called like, I have no idea what it's called. I looked it up earlier. Fucking today I was looking it up. God damn it, son of a bitch.
Oh gosh. But I was gonna say too, because I did talk about like the constant buildup, but that 3.5 minutes in the middle where it's just like it's such a slow burn, but you can feel that tension that just wants to explode out of nowhere, but it never quite happens. So you're almost like on the edge of your seat and almost like anxious at points. Like you just want it to explode, but it just doesn't happen. And then by like almost 7 minutes, you get some sort of a relief, and you're like, okay, I feel better. I feel good. Like they're kind of winking. They're kind of showing off their talents, and then it gets like super slow again, like very quick, and then it just kind of goes into the craziness. The highs and lows of this song is just, it's fucking wild, absolutely wild.
It's called recapitulation, you little shit.
Recapitulation. That's a very different word than coda.
Okay, you little fuck. Well, how the fuck am I supposed to remember recapitulation? But like what I
down.
What I think kind of the same thing. Like coda is you're recapping what has gone on, and recapitulation is also kind of recapping what has gone on, but in a different way. And just even like using that word is what Wakeman brought to this band, and how he made everybody else better. Saying, hey, let's put a coda at the end of it. That's what Zeppelin's coda is, right? Like that album Coda is not
an album, but okay.
You think Shenanigans is an album? Get the fuck out of here.
Shenanigans is.
You think Incesticide is an album? That's not a fucking album. Get out of here with your coda, not an album, you little fucking butt muncher. So like,
I would also never get coda, but I would definitely get Incesticide, and I would.
Coda is good. It's not a bad album.
Coda is good, but I don't really care to have it. Like everything God, Zeppelin, dude, I pretty much already have.
Wiener, dude. Like you are literally a wiener. Like you're just a wiener. Like you look like a wiener. Oh, I don't even know.
But it's true. It's true.
That sounds good. Boy. That's good stuff.
It is really good.
That's all I got for music.
Okay.
We can go over Roger Dean real quick if we want.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't really want to play any part of this song because it's so... You can't pick the song apart. You can't just play certain parts. This song has to be played front to back and to really get the gist of it, of all like almost 9 minutes of it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we should play any of this song, which is crazy. Like we barely played any actual music, which is really wild for us. But
it's too hard.
Yeah, it really is. And considering there's 9 songs on this record, because we're not talking about the bonus or the other songs. There's like 3 other ones, I think.
Yeah, 3 other ones.
So yeah, we're not talking about those. But yeah, so let's get into Roger Dean. What do you got on him? I think his artwork's amazing. But.
Yeah, he's done like when I first started getting into the vinyls, and then Sloan started getting into the vinyls, and he had got a couple of Uriah Heep albums. Yeah. And then that's when I kind of realized, like, wow, that looks very similar to like this style. Come to find out, Roger Dean has done more than just like Yes stuff. And then looking into what he has done, and it's just, I mean, it's so much stuff that he has done. I mean, it's outside of just like Yes. So we're talking like Asia, right? Asia is a massive band.
Which is also related, like musically, to the band.
I didn't even know that either until recently, because Sloan likes Asia a lot, and therefore I automatically did not like Asia because he has horrible taste in music. But yeah, I didn't even know Asia was like a kind of super group. But I've listened to them. Yeah. They're not that good. They're fucking.
I haven't listened to them. I've had so little interest in them. But anytime I go to any record store, I always see a handful of Asia records.
It's always like the same, like 1 or 2.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is the same
always
couple. Yeah, absolutely right. And just I'm quickly going through his stuff again. I mean, he was doing Asia records up through the 90s.
Ugh.
So, yeah, dude, it's astonishing how many Yes records he's done. It's fucking wild. And then, I mean, he did a lot of Atomic Rooster too, which is pretty cool because they're a rad band too, from the 70s. But yeah, dude, he did a Focus record in 2012.
Yeah, late Focus record.
Yeah, very late. He also did the singer from Focus. He did like a live record for him in 2015 as well. I'm just seeing like if he did anybody like super contemporary, we would know, but nah, it's all like the same shit. It's like I would say like maybe 60-70% of his stuff is all Yes,
or
then
Yes
like 10%
related
Asia. Yeah, or Yes related. Yeah.
Like he did like Steve Howe solo stuff, Alan White solo stuff. So it's definitely a lot of the same things. But like even if you click on like newer albums for whatever, like for instance, Yes came out with like a mini album a couple years ago. Like it's Roger Dean, but it's still kind of unique, and it's still, I don't know, it still holds water. It still looks great. It's still unique in itself, and it's good. He's so damn good.
You know what I think it is too? Like his style. I know he kind of came. I mean, he obviously came before Ralph McQuarrie, who did a lot of the early Star Wars storyboards, and I pretty much did all the Star Wars storyboards over the years. They're very similar in style, but color wise, I feel like Roger Dean uses a lot more like greens, and I don't want to say pastel colors, but the color stylings are different. They're not as like dark looking as Ralph McQuarrie is. You've seen a lot of Ralph McQuarrie stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like a lot of the older. Yeah. It's
fucking amazing. And I feel like they're stylistically they're very similar, but color scheme wise, they're like very odd. Like I feel like Roger Dean is very much more positive looking and like happier looking. I don't even know how to describe it, but I don't know. It's wild. It's so good.
It is hard to describe, and I mean, we're not lyric men really, and we sure as shit ain't art men. And so, like, completely out of our league on this.
Yeah. We have no idea what we're talking about.
We're talking about colors. I'm sure there's technical terms to be described what we're looking at, but like literally I have no fucking idea. Yeah. But what I do know...
We can barely even get by like musically. So jumping into lyrics and like even paintings and art in this sense, visual art is just fucking stupid for us.
Much like listening to jazz, I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Exactly. exactly.
Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, Roger Dean honestly has some of the coolest fucking artwork of all time. When it comes to music, it's some really cool stuff. So
there you go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so what do you want to do? What do you want to do next? This is your pod. What do you want to do?
I think like that's all of my biggest talking points.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything.
That's kind of where
massive.
I am too.
Yeah, I really want to do the Lavia Kids thing because that is there, and that's about it. I'm good. We could stop now and I'd be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing else too. I mean, I talked about all the big points. The only one we didn't really touch upon too much was Long Distance Runaround, which was technically like the B side to Roundabout, but the songs are very similar in style, but it's just like it's definitely a much more condensed version of that song. They're very, very similar, but
yeah,
outside of that, I mean, we talked about every other song. Honestly, we have talked about every other song. We did.
No, I'm satisfied.
I am too. This ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We did our research, which was nice. So
a little bit.
We probably could have done more, but it's fine. It's fine. There's just so much to not just this band, but just prog in general. And considering you and I are so new to this genre, besides like the Mars Volta and like a few stragglers here and there, this is like a whole new thing for us over the last like year and a half. So, yeah, let's just kind of give our final thoughts. And then we'll rate the album with our 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album. You're going to continue to listen to it. 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot. And 0 is just an absolute trash fire. So what do you got?
I had a good time. This week was fun. I started last week, and so I listened to all of the studio albums we were supposed to listen to. I listened to on vinyls, and then I also have the Yes Songs, which is their 3 LP live album. I listened to that one as well. Fantastic album. I know Nichols has it for like $8. It's usually pretty cheap if you can find it. Yeah. But this band is good. This band is good. They do the same thing kind of a lot, and a lot of their concepts and stuff do bleed together overall. But I mean, what do you expect when you release so much music over not a lot of period of time? I mean, like over 10 years, we're talking like 10 albums here. So, and they're not short. These aren't
like and they're not like little pop albums,
Yeah, they're complex fucking albums here. Yeah. So, I don't know. This band is really good. They're really, really good, and I don't know. They deserve all of the recognition that they get, and they're old. They're old, and they've been around a long time. And so when you think like, oh, well, they're kind of straggling along in 2019, putting out that little mini album, like it's a little pathetic, but. And like John Anderson comes back, and I don't sing any songs from Drama because that's not my album. It's like, come on, bro. You're like
petty.
You're barely holding on as it is because the 80s was not good to you. The 80s was not kind to Yes. So whatever.
Yeah.
This band's
Besides
good.
Owner of a Lonely Heart, but yeah.
I mean, if that was a Police song, I would give it a little bit more slack. But dude, not as a Yes song. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I get it. I totally get it.
But whatever. This album's great. I will listen to this often. And this, I'm going to do 2.75. 2.75.
Damn.
I for sure would never go higher because there are just some things about this I do not think is perfect.
You're fucking wild. You're
just
wild.
Saying. Calls him as I sees him. That's all I can do.
Yeah, that is all you can do. So my final thoughts on this one, it's funny because like I did all this like other research like of the entire history of the band, thinking we wouldn't have enough to talk about on this record, but we didn't even touch upon the massive lineup changes, and then the one album where they all came together and were pretty much all the all the members in the past and present came together and did a record, and like half the group hated it. And dude, just the history of this band is just so stupid.
They've just been around for so fucking long, and there's been so many people.
And it's interesting too, because I've always, when I was reading about them, it never seemed like anybody actually hated each other. It was almost like
Passive aggressiveness.
I wouldn't even say that. It was just like, oh, so and so is not available this year. Let's get somebody else. So then they get somebody else for a few years, and then they bring back Rick Wakeman. Like Rick Wakeman was the one guy they brought back like every 2 or 3 years because he wasn't available to do like 1 or 2 tours or do an album. But then they would bring him back for like 1 album and 1 tour, and then he would leave again. Like this whole history of this band is just ridiculous.
I think Chris Squire is the only one who's been on every single album.
Yeah, well, I mean, he died in 2015, but they put out another record after that, right? Or no,
you're right. Like they're
like in 2019 or 2018.
Their main heyday. Chris Squire is the only one that's been around or been on every single album.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but yeah. So my final thoughts on this record. I mean, this was the first full record I heard from Yes. Like I said, I was blown away. I think every song on this record is good to absolutely perfect, and no stinkers. It's a wild ride, and like I said before too, I was a little bit disappointed with the lyrics and the fact that there's no real concept to this record, and they're considered like one of the greatest prog bands of all time, and they're definitely one of the most successful prog bands of all time, next to Rush and probably Floyd, definitely Floyd, because Floyd sold so many goddamn fucking records. But yeah, so with that said and everything we've already talked about, I'm gonna have to give this record a solid 2.85.
2.85. The fuck is 2.85?
Why not? Like I said, the only thing that kind of seems unnecessary is the Rick Wakeman song, because he wasn't allowed to have a song on here. Like it's so stupid, and it just
It is.
It could be a perfect album if that wasn't there. But it's such a minor part of the record, so it barely affects it. So I give this a 2.85 out of 3. So that's it.
Okay.
That's the only reason. Otherwise, everything is great, and your hatred toward the 5% for nothing is ridiculous. But that's okay too.
Well, it doesn't belong there, but that's fine.
It's solid. So, you got anything else to say about it, or what?
I don't. We did it. That's all. We made it. Yeah, we did it.
I can't believe it. I mean, I didn't think we would ever be able to get through a big prog record like this, but we did. So I'm proud of us. Proud of the pod.
Yeah.
And so thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Please give us a 5-star rating. Because that would mean the world to us. Go follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Just get in contact with us. Let us know how you feel. Fight with us, because we love to fight with you. And that's the whole basis of this pod is fighting with one another, because that's what we do. So I got nothing else. Stay tuned for the next episode, because it's another band that we've never really touched upon. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. That's all. Jeffy.
Oh.
But obviously, yeah, Nirvana was around in the late 80s, so it's like, of course, Nevermind wasn't the first. Silly boy talk. But you have it on vinyl.
Yeah, it was free.
You had to get the butt guy.
Yeah, plus it's funny to pull it out. Look at his butt. Because butts are funny. How many butts do I got to cut? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's going for the one. I thought I could get you. I thought I could get you. I'm sorry.
You're stupid as shit. I know that, but you're not that stupid.
Pod talking is hard. Pod reading is hard.
Yeah.
It's a difficult time for me.
Existing is difficult for you. So
it really is.
My origin story is actually Jerry from Virgin Records. Like, I've talked about this dude before, and it says right here, Chris Why am I saying quiz weird?
Inquis.
Can I say quiz, please? In Chris Squires, the fish.
Like us, we have an accent. Totally.
I think the entire world has an accent, but Southern California has no accent. The only comment on this one is somebody named Candyman 101. They said that their favorite part is when it goes Chandleria prematuris.
Well, you fucking got that down right away, huh?
Yeah, I tried real hard as soon as I was reading it. You got to just commit. Because when you commit, it sounds like you know what you're talking about.
True, yeah. You don't have a hard time pod reading like I do.
Pottering? Pottery
Pottering, yes.
Pod reading barn?
It's not. It's not.
Albums don't lie. This is cardboard. This is cardboard from the 70s. This is definitely not lying.
Isn't that weird to think about cardboard? You're literally holding cardboard from the 70s.
I know, like fucking loser. It's called recapitulation, you little shit.
Recapitulation. That's a very different word than coda.
Okay, you little fuck. Well, how the fuck am I supposed to remember recapitulation? But like
what I written it down. Got him.